My son, my daughter, I am the Lord your God, the one who formed you before the womb, the one who knows you even in silence. I see beyond your exhaustion, beyond your hidden tears, and the prayers you struggle to express in words. Today, I come to you urgently, yes, urgently, because something is unfolding around you that you have not yet fully recognized. But now is the time. You must awaken before it is too late. While you slept last night, dark forces moved. They surrounded your home, searching for cracks in your spiritual defenses, exploiting weariness, carelessness, and moments when your guard was lowered. Their goal is not just to disturb your day. Their intention is far graver. They seek to dismantle the calling I have placed upon your life. Yes, you have a calling, not just an ordinary purpose, but one that has weighed on your soul since the day you were born. That is why you have always felt different, why your battles have been fiercer and your burdens heavier. It is not because you are weak. It is because you carry something too powerful to be ignored. And now, the enemy is using your emotional exhaustion, your silent fears, your internal conflicts, hoping to neutralize your mission. He does not seek to destroy you outright. He wants you to surrender, little by little, until he fully takes hold of what is yours. He whispers that this is merely another difficult season, but it is not. This is a spiritual war. Listen carefully. If you have been feeling an unusual spiritual heaviness, if your dreams have become unclear, if oppression has increased, if battles now seem more intense and meaningless, this reaction is not just emotional, it is a symptom of a deeper spiritual movement. My Archangel Michael is near. He has been sent to intervene. But before he moves, you must wake up. You must recognize the urgency, the significance of this moment. The signs are not random. They are divine warnings, calling you to action. If you have read this far, take heart, because there is still time. There is still hope. There is still restoration. It all begins with one posture: attentiveness. Those who remain watchful guard what I have placed in their care. Even before you took your first breath, before your eyes opened to this world, I had already chosen you. Your name was already written in a plan greater than anything you can comprehend, because your life carries a mission that is not common. This mission was not assigned to you by mere chance, nor by merit, nor by circumstance. It is a decree from heaven, a purpose divinely aligned with the expansion of my kingdom. And it is not an isolated mission. It is intertwined with the destinies of others, with the restoration of families, with the shaping of future generations. Your actions, your obedience, your surrender will reverberate in the spiritual realm far beyond yourself. And that is precisely why the enemy does not rest. He does not fear your present. He fears your future. He has already seen the mantle you wear. Read fragments of what I have written about you. He knows that if you awaken, if you stand in your place, if you strengthen your spiritual walls and align your soul with my will, his dominion is lost. His influence dissolves. His schemes fail. That is why his attacks are relentless. That is why some days feel unbearably heavy. That is why weariness sometimes seems unexplainable. Because this war is not over something small. It is a war over legacy. This mission is like a fire burning within you, at times flickering, at times dimmed by doubt, but never extinguished. If you feel within your spirit that you are called to something greater, if a purpose still whispers to you in the silence, if it arises even in the midst of despair, acknowledge it now. Declare, Lord, I recognize, I receive, I surrender. For the very fact that you are reading these words is not a coincidence. It is confirmation. Heaven has not abandoned you. Your calling has not been canceled. It has merely been awaiting your response. And if you rise now, everything can begin to realign. The mission is still waiting for your eyes. What has surrounded your home in recent nights was not just an unsettling atmosphere, not just random fatigue or oppression. It was something deeper, more tangible, more dangerous. Specific forces, spirits sent with a single mission to sabotage what I have ordained for your life. They were not drawn to you by accident. They did not come by mere chance. They were appointed, assigned with explicit orders to dismantle what I have been building within you. Because they know you are closer than ever to stepping into a new season, one marked by deliverance, restoration, and spiritual acceleration. That is why they rose up now, to stop this shift before it manifests. These forces do not attack just anyone. They do not waste their time on those already neutralized. They target the chosen. They seek those carrying an inheritance, a divine promise, a spiritual mantle that will shatter generational curses, transform lives, and open pathways to new beginnings. And you, my child, are one of them. Thus, the attacks are not random. They are precise. They invade your dreams, hoping to crush your imagination until you believe only in defeat. They strike your health, bringing afflictions beyond explanation. They disrupt your relationships, attempting to sever divine connections. They drain your resources, generating scarcity where abundance should flow. But today, I reveal these things to you, because revelation is the first step toward liberation. You will not walk alone, and you will not remain defenseless. Michael is already advancing, but for his authority to manifest fully, you must align yourself, position yourself, and arise. Share this message with others who are silently battling exhaustion and struggles without end. This is not merely an act of kindness, it is prophetic warfare. Every word spoken sheds light into another oppressed home, into another weary heart, into another life the enemy sought to silence but that I am about to restore. And remember, what I have unveiled today was not meant to incite fear. It was meant to awaken you. Because now that you see, you can take action. Do you truly believe what you are experiencing is ordinary? Do you think this persistent discouragement, despite improvements, is just a passing phase? Have you noticed doors that once swung open have suddenly shut? Relationships strained without explanation? Promising opportunities dissolving into confusion? My child, these are not mere obstacles. These are spiritual signals, warnings that your mission is under attack. Because when your life aligns with what I have decreed for you, the spiritual realm stirs. When you draw closer to the heart of your calling, the enemy grows desperate, casting every possible barrier before you. But take heart. Your victory is written. Your restoration is set. Your assignment awaits. And now it is time to arise. Have you noticed escalating conflicts, arguments igniting out of nowhere? Have people close to you begun to wound you with their words, judgments, and distorted perspectives? These are not coincidences. They are deliberate distractions. The enemy knows that if he can pull you away from your emotional focus, he can weaken you spiritually. And that deep fatigue, persistent even after rest, the heaviness that weighs on you as if something is pulling you downward without explanation, it is not ordinary exhaustion. It is spiritual warfare. Your soul is being bombarded by invisible pressures, by dreams interrupted before they can take root. Those visions you once felt were divine, but now seem distant, paralyzed, eclipsed. These are signs that the enemy has been attempting to blur your vision and halt your momentum. Notice the pattern: constant deviations. You begin a project but never complete it. You initiate change, only to backtrack. Something always leads you astray. There is always a convenient reason that keeps you from fulfilling what I have placed upon your heart. Do not be deceived. This is spiritual manipulation. These disruptions are calculated attempts to sabotage your coherence, to pull you away from your calling. But I bring this revelation to you today because there is still time. If you identify these signs, you can dismantle every lie, reverse every scheme. Leave a comment now, revealing which of these signs have surfaced in your life. This is not for public exposure, it is an act of revelation. For what you name, I can touch. What you confess, I can heal. What you surrender, I can transform. You are not alone in this struggle, but overcoming it requires awareness. Recognizing the battle is the first step toward victory. This is not the first time I have spoken to you. I warned you in dreams. I stirred your heart while you were driving, while you cried in secret, while you stared at the ceiling searching for answers. I placed people in your path, sent signs, shifted circumstances to capture your attention. And now, once again, I speak plainly. But know this, it could be the last time before something closes permanently. Yes, my child, there is a set time for every calling. A spiritual cycle that does not align with earthly calendars, but responds to divine timing. And when these opportunities are repeatedly ignored, they close. Not because I am impatient, but because certain things must unfold at appointed moments for my greater purpose to be fulfilled. Do you sense it? That time is passing faster. That opportunities seem scarcer, that your soul feels as though it is counting down? That is not anxiety. It is discernment. Your spirit perceives what the natural world cannot comprehend. Time is running out. And when this window closes, the damage may be irreversible. Not because I cannot restore, but because certain battles leave scars. Certain delays steal entire seasons. Certain refusals prevent others from embracing my will for their lives. You have been called to something specific, something no one else can fulfill in your place. If you do not rise, if you continue delaying, if you keep numbing your awareness with distractions, a moment will come when it is too late to return to the point of origin. But right now, there is still time. The very fact that you are reading this now is proof that heaven is knocking at your door. There is still hope. There is still a way forward. There is still a route of redemption. But you must choose today. Subscribe, not for numbers, but for alignment. The next words spoken will carry revelations, strategies for securing your purpose, divine instructions on what must be released and realigned. If you miss this, you risk missing the shift heaven has already planned. My child, do not wait any longer. Time is running out, and the clock in heaven does not stop. The enemy has no power over you unless granted access. But he has been feeding on one thing: your ignorance. As long as you remain unaware of the magnitude of what you carry, he will continue to sabotage my plans for your life. He does not attack with explosions. He works in distractions. Subtle, strategic. He knows that if he keeps you occupied with what does not matter, you will never have time to seek what is eternal. A notification here, a concern there, a chain of empty tasks. And before you realize it, you have stopped seeking, stopped praying, stopped listening. Your attention, which should have been fixed above, is buried beneath the weight of the world. Then, he plants discouragement. Thoughts arise. You will never make it. It is too late. God does not hear you. These are not your own doubts. They are seeds planted by the enemy, designed to suffocate my promises over your life. Then comes division. He turns you against those who love you, against your spiritual connections, against your own identity. He thrives on generating conflict, noise, separation, because isolation weakens. Dividing is the first step toward conquest, and he has been employing this tactic for generations. Next, he injects doubt. He knows that if he can shake your certainty, everything you believe will begin to collapse from within. Have I truly been called? Am I truly forgiven? Is there still time? These questions are not yours. They are his, crafted to silence your faith. Finally, he launches delays, extends processes, creates obstacles, not indefinitely, but just long enough to wear you down. Because he knows that if he can make you wait impatiently, he can push you to surrender prematurely. But today, I will expose it all. Nothing will remain hidden. Today, light shines forth, bringing clarity. Because what is understood can be confronted, and what is confronted will be overcome. Comment: I understand the strategy, if you have recognized any of these tactics in your life. This is not just a comment, it is an act of war. It is a declaration before heaven and earth. Now I see. Now I know. Now I will not be deceived. Because when the enemy is unmasked, he loses control. What is at stake now is not merely your comfort, not just the answer to a passing prayer. It is bigger. It is the ripple effect of your existence, the lives that do not even know you yet, but are linked to your yes, the destinies that will be unlocked when you embrace my calling. My child, you were not placed upon this earth merely to survive. I planted you in this generation with a purpose that transcends time, shatters limitations, and shakes the spiritual realm. Every choice you make carries an unseen impact, rippling beyond your personal story. When you stand, others will rise. When you speak, others will be unshackled. When you choose to walk in the path I have laid before you, doors will open in places you have never touched. Have you ever imagined how many healings will flow when you step into your purpose? How many hearts will be restored simply because you chose obedience? How many silent revivals will be birthed in your home, in your circle, in your surroundings, because you rediscovered your identity? The enemy seeks to deceive you, convincing you that everything is about you, your job, your health, your personal struggles. But I tell you now, the scope of your mission is far greater than you can imagine. What you carry within you has the power to change generations, to break curses that have existed for centuries, to establish a new spiritual lineage where once there was only darkness. Every attack you have faced has had a purpose. It is not because you are weak, but because you are dangerous to the forces of darkness. You are a living key, and if that key aligns with my will, entire chains will shatter. Stay connected, not just to a message, but to divine revelation. The plans are unfolding, the strategies are being revealed step by step. But you must be awake, attentive, and prepared, because what is at stake is not just your personal journey. It is a revival that will begin through you. My hand is extended once more. And this may be the last call, not because I have given up on you, for I never will, but because the time demands an answer. There are cycles that cannot be postponed, doors that must no longer remain ajar, destinies that await your yes as their starting point. Son, daughter, listen with an open heart. You are irreplaceable. In my kingdom, no one can take the place I have specifically designed for you. No one carries your exact calling, your sensitivity, your healed wounds, wounds that today are becoming tools in my hands. No one has endured what you have and emerged with the anointing I poured upon you in the midst of pain. And that is why I am calling you urgently today. Because if you do not rise now, lives will remain untouched, environments will remain oppressed, and words that were meant to bring healing will go unspoken. Only you possess the perfect combination of experience, faith, and authority to release them with power. You may feel unqualified, uncertain, flawed, but I chose you knowing all of this. Your worth is not found in perfection, but in willingness. Your calling is not activated by your past, but by your response in the present. Make a declaration now. Act on this moment. This simple gesture before human eyes is a seal before the heavens, saying, Father, I have heard, I understand, I accept. Because this is your final call to align your life with the original plan. This is not punishment. It is rescue. It is mercy knocking one last time before the consequences of inaction deepen. You are rare. You are necessary. Your absence from my plan would leave a space that no other could fill. What will you do now? The hand is outstretched, and all of heaven awaits your answer. Today, I, the Lord your God, place before you something that shifts the course of your spiritual battle. Not just words, not just comfort, but authority. Real, living, active authority over your home, your mind, your peace, your relationships, your mission. And I do not grant this authority based on your merits, your achievements, or even your holiness. It is given because of who I am. It flows directly from the bloodshed on the cross by my Son. It is made manifest through my name, the name you carry. And where my name is invoked with faith, no dark force can stand. You are no longer simply someone who prays and waits. From today forward, you are one who commands the environment. You boldly declare, my home is under divine protection. My children are covered. My mind is at peace. My calling is sustained by heaven. I give you the authority to silence the voices of the enemy, to close doors that were opened by distraction, to build invisible walls of spiritual defense around you. This authority is not only for protection, but for advancement. To reclaim what was stolen, to rebuild what was broken, to restore what was lost. With this authority, you will walk into places that once intimidated you and stand firm. With this authority, you will speak, and heaven will confirm. You will pray, and angels will move. You will declare, and the earth will respond. Now, to seal this moment, I call you to act in faith. Share this message, not for yourself alone, but for those around you who have yet to realize they too have been called. This is about households still vulnerable, about lives waiting for restoration. Your obedience will unlock deliverance. When you share, you declare, I accept my calling. I rise. I understand who I am in Christ. And in that moment, something shifts in the spirit, for authority recognized is authority activated. You have wondered why the battles have intensified, why the weight feels heavier, the mind more exhausted, the attacks more frequent, the doors more shut. I answer you now. It is because you are closer to breakthrough than you realize. What is happening around you is not random chaos. It is strategic resistance. The forces of hell do not waste energy attacking those who pose no threat. They only escalate warfare against those about to cross a critical spiritual boundary. You feel the weight because you are approaching a threshold. You feel the pressure because you are stepping into a new phase of your mission. And this next phase will not be small. It will unlock words that bring freedom, actions that spark transformation, declarations that activate miracles. It will shift atmospheres, awaken souls, break cycles, and establish you in a place where what once seemed impossible will become reality. That is why the enemy has strengthened his opposition. He senses movement. He hears the sound of your footsteps nearing the border he has tried to keep closed for years. And now, he is desperate to halt your advance. But I say, do not fear the noise, fear the silence that comes when you stop moving forward. Son, daughter, you are about to cross a spiritual barrier. And beyond that threshold, there is a new level of authority, clarity, and lightness that you didn't know existed. Declare now with a fire emoji if you are ready to step through. This gesture is more than a commitment. It is a prophetic declaration. It is like inscribing your resolve into the spirit realm. I recognize the battle, but I will not retreat. I feel the weight, but I will press on. I am ready for the new. And I, the Lord, am not only watching, I am moving, breaking down what must be removed, preparing the ground where you will flourish. Rise, for your time has come. The siege around your home, your mind, and your mission is not merely symbolic. It is real. I see the pressures mounting, the thoughts being bombarded, the unseen force pulling you away from focus, faith, and fervor. But listen, I am not just calling you into this battle. I am equipping you with weapons to win it. You are not unarmed. You are not alone. I have provided you with heavenly instruments, unseen to the natural world but lethal in the spiritual realm. And today, I reveal them to you, for the time has come to break this siege. The first weapon is a declaration based on my word. When you speak what I have spoken, the atmosphere shifts. Do not echo the enemy's lies. Declare my promises. Say, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. 1,000 may fall at my side, but I will remain standing. Every word spoken in faith is an arrow piercing the darkness. The second weapon is strategic fasting. This is not merely a diet. It is a sacrifice with purpose, a surrender with direction. When you fast, you silence the noise of the flesh and amplify the sound of revelation. You clear the battlefield around you, dismantling strongholds that have fed off distraction. The third weapon is persistent worship. Praise even when it feels unnatural. Worship even when everything appears bleak, because worship does not depend on the environment, it transforms it. When you lift your voice in the midst of war, you declare to the enemy, "My strength is not in what I see, but in whom I believe." And with that, his grip loosens. The fourth weapon is communion with other spiritual warriors. This battle is not meant to be fought alone. I have placed others in the fight alongside you, and when you connect, something is activated. In unity, there is strength. In counsel, there is revelation. In collective intercession, there is resistance against the enemy's schemes. The fifth weapon is immediate obedience. Do not delay what I have already instructed. Obedience at the right time prevents the enemy from reorganizing his attack. When you act in alignment with my voice, chains break before they have the chance to tighten. Subscribe now, not merely as a gesture, but as an act of spiritual connection. I will continue revealing strategies, imparting revelations, and providing precise instructions for the battles ahead. The war is real, but victory has already been decreed, and now you hold the weapons to claim it. Right now, as you read these words, as your spirit burns with the truth revealed, my angels stand in position. They are not distant. They are not passive. They are ready, swords drawn, divine orders in hand, waiting for your signal to intensify the war being waged over your calling. You do not walk alone. Heaven moves with you. Every decision aligning with my will activates a new wave of angelic operations surrounding you. Because heaven fights for you, but only when there is cooperation. My angels are not mere observers. They are warriors, messengers, and sentinels. They intercept attacks you never see. They cancel words meant to poison your mind. They encircle your home as invisible guardians, ensuring darkness cannot cross the threshold. But understand this truth urgently. They await your cooperation. Do you know what triggers their movement? Spiritual recognition and obedience. When you recognize the war and stand firm in faith, when you declare, "Lord, I am here, ready to do my part," the atmosphere shifts. At that moment, the angelic hosts receive their order. Intensify, advance, release. And today, I give you the opportunity to declare this before the spiritual realm, not in ritual, but in awareness. Comment now with angelic activation, for this phrase is more than words. It is a key, a code, a cry to the unseen world declaring, "I am awake, I am aligned, I will move in obedience." And when you do this, when you declare, when you step into alignment, the heavens open, the battlefield strengthens, gaps close, resistance transforms into breakthrough, and what has been stagnant begins to flow. Never underestimate the role of my angels. They do not merely surround you, they move on active assignment. They are waiting for you. And the question that echoes in the heavens right now is, will you respond? You are not the first to feel this weight. Many before you have stood where you stand now, contemplating surrender, questioning if time remained, wondering if hope still existed. They too were surrounded by siege walls, confronted by the same fury with which the enemy tried to silence a calling. But do you know what changed their story? They responded to my call for restoration. They did not deny the pain. They did not ignore the battle. They acknowledged the urgency and declared, "Lord, I am returning. Lord, I am realigning. Lord, I am ready to begin again." And in that moment, what seemed like an end became a new beginning. I have seen marriages on the brink of destruction restored, becoming voices of healing to other couples. I have seen young lives trapped in addiction and despair rise with spiritual authority to set others free. I have seen leaders swallowed by shame emerge as pillars of fire. Their battles did not destroy them, they promoted them. Because when someone responds to my call, hell is not merely frustrated, it is humiliated. What was meant as a trap becomes a testimony. What was meant as a wound becomes a weapon. What was meant as a failure becomes a ministry. If you believe your story will be one of these testimonies, take action now. This is not just a gesture, it is a spiritual declaration. Lord, I believe. My story will not end in defeat. The enemy tried to convince you that it was over. But what he failed to account for is that I am the God of restoration. And whatever I place in my hands does not return to its former state. It comes back stronger. What is restored by me is multiplied. I am still calling you. There is still time, but it is running out, and the price of delay is too great. You were not born to live in fragments. You were born to fulfill all that I have ordained. Completely, powerfully, without reservation. The choice is before you, because every warning is an opportunity, but not every opportunity repeats itself. For those who still have the strength to listen, to perceive, to respond, I leave a living and powerful promise. If you act today, not tomorrow, not later, but today, I will release supernatural intervention over your life. You cannot yet grasp what I can accomplish in a single moment of obedience. You cannot yet fathom what transpires in heaven when a weary heart, a wounded soul, a hesitant voice still dares to say, "Yes." The enemy plotted your destruction. He devised falls, frustrations, losses meant to leave you broken. He believed he had won when he saw your silence, your discouragement, your exhaustion. He wagered that you would never rise again. But I, the Lord, will turn every strike, every tear, every injustice into a launching pad. You will be catapulted to a new level, a level where your voice will carry authority, where your testimony will serve as a bridge for others who have stumbled, where what seemed like an ending will prove to be the true beginning. You will look back and understand that everything that was ruined has become a foundation. The very place where you stumbled will become the ground of your victory. What was meant to bury you will propel you. But this promise is not automatic. It is for those who respond now. For those who understand that this moment is critical, that the window is open, that the battle is underway, and that the response must be immediate. Like and share now if you receive this promise of transformation. This action is not trivial, it is prophetic. It is the equivalent of raising your hand on the battlefield and declaring to the heavens, I am ready, I believe, I will rise. And when you do, heaven will move. Angelic forces will receive their commands. Doors will begin to creak open. Invisible chains will begin to shatter. Because when I find faith paired with action, no force can prevent the shift. Son, daughter, if you respond now, the foundation is already being laid. Because what was pain is becoming destiny. Now is the time to seal all that has been revealed. Not just with words that touch the mind, but with a declaration that moves heaven. Every truth I have unveiled is not theory. It is a divine strategy for restoration. And for it to become tangible, living, and active in your journey, you must take this step, a sincere prayer offered with an open spirit and awakened faith. Speak with boldness, with conviction, with the understanding that now is the moment to reclaim what was lost, to lift what has fallen, to reignite the mission suffocated by darkness. Now, repeat aloud, Lord, I recognize the value of the mission you have placed upon my life. Today, I reject the darkness that has surrounded my home and reclaim my divine purpose. I commit to moving forward without turning back. These words are more than a prayer. They are a spiritual decree. And the moment you spoke to them, something shifted. Chains weakened. Codes were rewritten in the spirit realm. My Archangel Michael has received new orders concerning you. Because what is declared in faith before me never returns empty. You have taken a stand. You have claimed what is yours by right of heavenly sonship. Now, the next step is to keep this commitment alive, not through human effort, but through spiritual vigilance. Because every time you honor this decision with action, I honor your mission with power. Comment Amen now if you have spoken this prayer sincerely, for by declaring this, you seal this covenant with heaven. And what is sealed in the Spirit, no force can revoke. Son, daughter, your mission is being restored. What comes next will be greater, deeper, and more impactful than anything the enemy tried to destroy. There is a set time, an exact, sacred time, that I myself have determined for each divine manifestation. Nothing I have planned for your life happens by chance, and nothing unfolds outside its appointed season. But today, I tell you, the time of manifestation is approaching. And for some who hear this call with awakened hearts, that time has already begun to open. Do you feel it now? As if something is about to shift, as if the waiting that seemed endless is making way for an expectancy, a silent anticipation, like the sky before a great storm after a long drought. This is not imagination. This is the stirring of my spirit, announcing a new season in your mission. Yes, a rapid, transformative season is unfolding, and it will not be for everyone. It will be for those who listen, believe, and respond. Those who delay will remain in the cycle of waiting. But those who obey this call today will step into a movement where processes will be shortened, doors will open swiftly, and divine encounters will be orchestrated precisely at the right time. What once seemed stagnant will begin to move. What was withheld will be released. What was merely a dream will become a concrete reality, but this requires discernment. Above all, preparation. Because acceleration does not come to the distracted. It comes to those who are attentive, watchful, and positioned. Subscribe now, for this simple act is a spiritual declaration. It is your voice before heaven saying, I am ready to step into the time of manifestation. It is the opening of your heart to receive the keys, the directions, the revelations I will release in the coming days, keys that will activate supernatural acceleration in your mission. Son, daughter, the time has come, and what is about to unfold will surpass every expectation. But only those with open eyes, aligned spirits, and surrendered hearts will step into this new era. Because time does not wait. But those who are prepared enter seamlessly, as if they were born for this moment. To all who today choose not to give up, not to postpone, not to silence the call, I now release a prophetic decree, sealed in heaven. And this decree is not formed from human emotions or fleeting inspirations. It flows directly from my throne into your spirit, carrying divine authority to break what must be broken and awaken what must be stirred within those who have chosen to redeem their mission today. Decree. The darkness that surrounded your life, your home, your mind will dissipate like mist before the rising sun. It will not withstand the light that is being released upon you. What once seemed unclear will become defined. The spiritual weight will lift. I will return to you what was taken. What was blocked will now follow with renewed strength. Doors that have remained shut for years will begin to open. Dreams will be revived, spirits will be restored, resources that were delayed will be released. Everything that was slow will now accelerate. Where there was resistance, there will now be surrender. Those who once rejected you will seek you out. Places where you were overlooked will now welcome your voice with reverence. Hardened hearts will soften under the anointing that rests upon those who obey. And finally, I decree, your impact will increase sevenfold. The reach of your calling will expand. Your voice will resonate in places you never imagined. What seems small will become a beacon. What was local will be global. Because when you align with what I have ordained, nothing can hold you back. But this decree requires activation. It is not enough to hear. It must be declared in faith. Because in the spiritual realm, what is silently accepted can be forgotten. But what is spoken aloud is established as a covenant. Comment. I receive this decree now if you believe this word was written for you. This declaration resounds in the heavenly courts like a seal. And when heaven records it, hell cannot revoke it. Son, daughter, the decree is released. Now it is your turn to step into it. My angels are observing your response at this very moment. They are not merely watching, they are recording. Because what you decide now is not just between you and me. It is being inscribed in the heavenly books. Yes, your response is being written while you determine what to do with the revelations I have unveiled. What will heaven record about you? That you listened, felt, and were moved, but returned to routine, allowing your mission to fade into passivity? Or will the records testify that you, though surrounded, though pressured, though weary, valued the call, redeemed the mission, and rose with authority? Do you think this siege is the end? No. It is the final test before promotion, and your response now determines whether this battle becomes your testimony or a reminder of a missed opportunity. I, the Lord, am calling you, not with fear, but with purpose. And this is the moment when your decision must be visible, undeniable, and unwavering. Because faith that does not manifest in action dies in the silence of intention. Like this now as a sign that you are spiritually alive. Share this message now as someone who understands that more lives must be awakened to this call. Subscribe and activate the bell as one who takes their place as a watchman, ready to receive divine instructions. And finally, comment. My mission will be fulfilled. As a spiritual declaration, a heavenly signature, a banner raised before angels and men. For what you declare, heaven records. And what heaven records, hell cannot erase. Son, daughter, this is the final call. It is not about what you feel. It is about what you choose. The mission is still alive, and now it waits for you.